Hello and welcome to another video. This case it's gonna be a practical showcase, and it's very similar to the other videos that I have done on the character guides. This is basically, uh, let's say, the second part of the guide of Mare, the normal Mare, the SSR mage character, and I'm uploading this before the actual theoretical guide of the character. This is the character in question, Mare, the untrustworthy disciple of nature. And the reason why I'm uploading this like practical showcase where I'm going into the arena mode and show themes and compositions around Mare or with Mare before the theoretical guide where I explain the character and give my recommendations. It's for two reasons. One, I don't have a lot of storage, and I already have a little bit of gameplay of Mare. So I don't have the storage to do the the theoretical guide with the things that I have right now on the phone. So I can do this one and then delete the footage of Mare on gameplay and then do the theoretical guide. And the other reason is because I can do two parts. I have enough footage to do one part right now, the practical part of the guide, where I show you the character on the arena. Then I can do uh, the theoretical guide where I explain the character and give the recommendations, and then I can do the second part. I can show it again on the arena with different teams and so. So I'm doing this basically because I'm running out of storage and I already have some footage of Mari, and I have to record other things like the monster hunt and so. And in this video, you're going to be seeing different themes and compositions that I have in mind to use with or around Mare to have any kind of synergy and combo with the character. In very general, because in the theoretical guide that I'm going to try to upload tomorrow, it's going to have some of the themes that I'm going to tell you, and to have the specifics of why that theme works with him. First of all, he's going to be able to be played with turn meter manipulation team. That is a team that constantly, as the name says, manipulates the turn meter by either increasing the on turn meter of the allies or decreasing the enemy's turn meter. For example, the half-elf demigod, Seshi, or Not Dead No Life, she is part of that because she can steal 30% of the turn meter of the enemy selected, and she gets instead that 30% turn meter instead of the enemy. Her passive allows her to constantly throw basic attacks at the enemy and puts the speed down, so the enemy is gonna turn slower than usual. Characters like Shalter, Valkyrie, she can throw 20% one enemy turn meter back upon hitting them. Other characters like, for example, Nigredo, she's really good at increasing her own turn meter. As we can see here, after a target with Gaze Axe, Nigredo gains 25% turn meter boost, and with her ultimate she gains another 30% turn meter boost. So, uh, those are kind of the characters for the turn meter manipulation. Includes Shaltiar, the Valkyrie version, Nigredo, Seshi, the Robohamuske, as well as, for example, Pestonia with the ultimate and her arc light, Victim because of his revive, and of course, the main characters of that team, this SSR solution, and Idol Shelter. Those are like the characters that are all about turn meter manipulation. And the reason why Mare can fit there is because Mare can put speed down on the enemies and put a specific debuff on them that does area of effect damage. That if you have his arc light, he's able to throw back the enemy turn meter from 5 to 10% depending on the arc light stars each time that debuff gets triggered on the enemies. So he can decrease the enemy turn meter little by little, but all the enemies at the same time. The other team that can be played with the normal Mare is an area of effect team. That is basically any mage that you have a high level or high attack. Like for example, it can be this Demerge, or it can be, let me show you this Shelter Resolution. It can be even this Entoma right here, this pretty little girl. It can also have a big team because he's an area of effect mage. Can also have the normal albedo this one here, because she's a really good mage for area of effect damage, or well, any mage that you have a high level that does area of effect damage. And Mare, of course. Then you have Cicita, because she's gonna drop all the enemies' magical resistance or magical defense by 20% with the ultimate and by 15% with her captain skill. So she's gonna weaken the enemy so your mages do a ton of damage, and you can play like, say she the only tank, two mages and then Mare as the third mage. Or you can have two mages, Mare alongside another character, and then a support like Pandora's Actor to buff Mare, for example, or Pestonia to give more turn meter to Mare, and so another variant, if you don't want to have double mage or triple mage, is Tisamuske. Tisamuske increases everyone's attack by a ton. So you can add Tisamuske as well as Cicita. And you have double tanks, one for magical damage and one for physical damage. You will have Mare as your main damage dealer that is going to have extra damage thanks to Cicita and Hamuski, and a healer, for example, or victim instead of a healer. So he adds even more damage to the team while still having defense. So it's gonna be either a turn meter manipulation team or an area of effect magical damage team as the main categories of characters that you have to play with Mare that have any kind of synergy, and the other might be a control team. Control team includes characters like this, like Shasuryu, that can taunt the enemy, or for example, Sariusu, that he can freeze the enemy with the ultimate and the passive. Or for example, a big team that can stun the enemies, Yaldabot that can taunt them, Hamuske and Seshi can stun the enemies, or for example, Tank Albedo, this version here, she can taunt uh, or one or all the enemies at the same time, depending on her effect precision and the enemy effect resistance. So it's characters that can inflict one kind of control debuff on the enemies. Another one that can be there is this Yuri right here. She can stun the enemy with the ultimate. The PDL, he can stun the enemy with the second skill. Any character that control can be there. So what you're gonna have on the control team is at least two control characters, and then Mare is the damage dealer. What it's gonna have is that the control characters are gonna prevent the enemies from throwing any specific skill, and then Mare can freely attack the enemy without feeling any, retaliation from the enemy. For example, a quick team with that can be Saryusu. It's one warrior there. Then it's gonna be victim, a mage. Then it's gonna be this Albedo. It's a tank. 3 and Mare 4. What's gonna happen is that with Albedo you can taunt the enemies while shielding your allies and inflicting attack down on the enemy. So you're constantly debuffing the enemy's attack and protecting your team by making them focus your tank. Big team is gonna add a ton of damage to everyone on the team. He can stun the enemies, and if the enemy is already stunned, big team, sorry, he can extend the stun duration, and he also lowers the enemy magical defense. Saryusu is a warrior. He can defend himself, he doesn't die easily, and he can control one or multiple enemies depending on, the luck with the effect precision and effect resistance, while doing high damage because he's a warrior, and he can provide utility even if the enemy is highly resistant to his damage, that is physical damage, because he can still control them. And then you might have Mare, that is going to be playing probably last or almost last turn. So he can freely throw the area of effect damage skill on the ultimate and dealing tons of damage to the enemy without the enemy countering his attacks or shielding themselves in anticipation to Mare damage and things like that. So it's gonna be three teams: a control team, a turn meter manipulation team, and an area of effect magical damage team. The specifics about that is gonna be on the general theoretical guide, and that's gonna be tomorrow. So I'm gonna put this to be like a little bit in advance. Tomorrow I do the theoretical guide with everything explained to details and all of that, and then I'm gonna throw more games in the arena mode as more demonstration. So here you're gonna have like 5 or 6 games, maybe something like that, and it's gonna be like 20 minutes of gameplay, or very similar, and then the theoretical guide that might be like 1 hour long, and then the practical guide part 2. Like it's gonna be the part 2 of this. It's gonna be like at least another 5 combats for you to see. So yeah, with that, everything is said, and thanks for hearing my awful voice and being here. And until tomorrow with the Mare theoretical guide. So thanks, and bye bye.
死の支配者オーバーロードに栄光を。この技で華麗に魂たちを狩ります。もう許さ僕、何か失敗でも。赤ん坊の泣き声、どこにいるの？承知しました。敵に与えるのは滅びのみ。
凍傷に気をつけろ。
この技で華麗に魂たちを狩りましょう。このだこの
楽しんでくれ。